Let me tell you a story. It's not a pretty one. This isn't about rainbows and unicorns, it's about a workplace that went very, very wrong. Imagine clocking in every day, only to be treated like you're less than. That's what it felt like for me and my colleagues. We were overworked, underpaid, and constantly undermined. It started subtly. A few shaved hours here, some preferential treatment there, but it quickly escalated into a full-blown nightmare. Wage theft became the norm, discrimination ran rampant. It felt like the rules were being rewritten, and we were the only ones not given the new handbook. We weren't just employees, we were cogs in a machine that seemed designed to exploit us. Our voices were silenced, our concerns were ignored, and the worst part, we knew we weren't alone. This story, sadly, is not unique. It plays out in workplaces across the country every single day. Wage theft. It sounds dramatic, doesn't it? Like something out of a Dickens novel. But it's as real as the rent that's due, and the groceries you can't afford. It's the insidious practice of employers stealing from their employees, plain and simple. Think about it. You busted your hump, put in the hours, did the work, but your paycheck doesn't reflect that. You're shorted on hours. You're denied overtime pay, you're forced to work off the clock. Suddenly, that minimum wage isn't a minimum at all. It's a cruel joke. And let's be clear, this isn't about a few bucks here and there. This is about a systemic issue that robs workers of billions of dollars every year. It's about employers cutting corners at the expense of their most valuable asset, their workforce. Now imagine this. You're not just being underpaid, but you're being treated differently because of who you are. Your ethnicity, your race, your language. Suddenly, these things become barriers in your own workplace. That's the ugly face of discrimination. In our case, it was blatant. Preferential treatment was given to certain employees based solely on their ethnicity. Non-Chinese employees? We were treated like second-class citizens, our concerns brushed aside like annoying flies. This wasn't just unfair, it was illegal. Discrimination in any form, be it based on race, religion, gender, or anything else, is a cancer that eats away at the very fabric of a just and equitable society. Have you ever been told to shut up? Not because you were being rude, but because of the language you were speaking? That's what it felt like when our employer decided to enforce an English-only policy, and not just any English-only policy, a selective one. Suddenly, speaking our native languages, languages that were part of our heritage and identity, was deemed unprofessional. But here's the kicker. This rule only seemed to apply to certain employees, conveniently those who weren't Chinese. This wasn't about communication. It was about control. It was about creating a hostile environment, about making us feel small and insignificant. It was, quite frankly, a load of bollocks. Section 5, the last straw, from wrongful dismissal to mass exodus. Imagine this, a hardworking employee, a black man, is unfairly blamed for a cleaning issue. Evidence? Who needs evidence when you have prejudice? He was fired, just like that, gone. And his dismissal? It was the final straw. Remember those colleagues I told you about? The ones who were equally fed up with the wage theft, the discrimination, the toxic environment? 13 of them, including myself, walked out, resigned. That's right, 13 out of 18 employees said enough is enough. This wasn't just a walkout, it was a mass exodus. It was a powerful statement that we refused to be treated with such disrespect. It was a testament to the power of solidarity, of workers uniting against injustice. Section 6, fighting back, taking on Goliaths with legal slingshots. So, what did we do? We fought back. We may have felt powerless, but we knew our rights. We filed claims with the Ministry of Labor, demanding justice for the stolen wages, the discrimination, the wrongful dismissal. And you know what the Assistant GM Financial Controller had the audacity to say? The law doesn't apply here. Oh, bless your heart. Here's a newsflash. The law applies to everyone, even those who think they're above it. Taking on a big company, especially one that seems to think it's invincible, can feel daunting. But here's the thing, even Goliaths can fall. And sometimes, all it takes is a well-aimed slingshot of legal action. Section 7, beyond one workplace, a systemic problem. Here's the thing about our story, it's not unique, it's a story that's being repeated in workplaces across the country, every single day. Wage theft, discrimination, retaliation. These aren't isolated incidents, they are systemic problems that demand systemic solutions. Just look at the recent protests by restaurant workers fighting for fair wages and better working conditions. Look at the countless lawsuits filed against companies for discriminatory practices. Look at the growing movement for stronger labor laws and worker protections. This is about more than just one workplace, one employer, or one group of employees. This is about fundamental fairness, about ensuring that every worker, regardless of their background or occupation, is treated with dignity and respect. Section 8. A call to arms protecting workers' rights. So, what can be done? First and foremost, we need stronger laws and regulations. We need to close the loopholes that allow employers to get away with wage theft and discrimination. We need to level the playing field. We need increased funding for labor enforcement agencies, so they have the resources to investigate and prosecute violators. We need to empower workers to speak out against injustice without fear of retaliation. But it's not just about laws and regulations. It's about changing the culture. It's about creating a society where workers' rights are valued and protected. It's about holding employers accountable for their actions. Section 9. Conclusion, a fairer future for all. Our story may have started in a toxic workplace, but it doesn't end there. It ends with a call to action, a demand for justice, a vision for a fairer future. We may have been silenced once, but we will not be silenced again. We will continue to fight for our rights, for the rights of all workers. We will not rest until every workplace is a place of fairness, dignity, and respect. This is our story, this is our fight. And together, we will win.